Hey, I'm AJ.
And I'm Jeremy, and we're from Lit.
You're watching New Music Director. Your artist, your music, your link. It's been a long ride for us. Jeremy and I started out wanting to play music when we were probably 8 and 10, if not a little younger, and after we went to our first concert, which was Maiden, and that's sort of where it all began for us. Seeing the energy on stage and what that did to a crowd of like 20,000 people and the power in the room, this is what we want to do.
We've been a band for 23 years. Together 10 years before we had any sort of mainstream success. And so by the time most people thought we were a new band and it was an overnight success, and for us, we lived and breathed rock and roll for 10 solid years before we got a break. It's crazy, we look back now, 23 years, it went by quick.
We sort of needed to step away from it. We never broke up, we never really disassembled, but we just had to do things individually and kind of part ways for a little while and didn't want to force new music, even though we had gone through so many hard times and tragedies as a band. When it came time to regroup, to get through these hard times, we kind of had a rebirth. Songs started flowing naturally, and probably some of the best songs that we've ever written, and that just came from a new, I guess, sort of like that reset, you know, and just not feeling forced.
Music is always therapy for me. It's what you turn to when you celebrate, when when you're sad, when you're going through something hard. And we never stopped writing music, but we stopped writing lit music, and we were writing for other artists or other genres. And I was spending a lot of time in Nashville writing country music, so the creative gears were always turning. I'm not sure that there's any one particular song on this record that would sum it up. The Broken and Here's to Us, I feel kind of symbolize what the record, sort of the theme of the record. You Tonight was just a riffy, heavy, fun song to play live, and nowadays on the radio, to have a Les Paul plugged into a Marshall stack is kind of a rare thing, so that song sticks that out on the table right out of the gate. A friend of mine from Nashville, country songwriter, John Stone, we were standing there talking about, he was like, I was talking to this old guy a couple nights ago, and he kind of looked off in the distance and he just sort of mumbled out, well, there's more behind that picture than the wall. When he said that, I'm like, dude, we're writing that. We gotta write that tomorrow. And I'm like, and it's gotta be not country, it's gonna be for lit. And I got the picture. I know the picture it's about. And I called the guys up, I'm like, you gotta hear this. That line was so powerful. And then we went to the house, and I have a picture above my fireplace, and it's of the four of us, Al's last show at the House of Blues in Anaheim, and it's us in the front of the stage, like doing the bow at the end, and the crowd. And so we literally took that picture off the wall and brought it into the backyard patio where we sat around and wrote that song, and just literally wrote it about that picture.
To most people, it looks like a rock band taking a bow in a packed house, and people don't realize how much is really being said in that picture with our last show with one of our brothers and the crowd, and you can see family and close friends, and just so much going on that we're just like, wow.
The first thing that feels good about this record is the sound of it. No apologies, just plug it in, full blast, and just going for it. There's still the party rock anthems that you expect from Lit, but then there's some real life stuff on there.
We didn't force ourselves to write this record. We waited till it was ready to be written. Definitely a love-hate relationship with technology. The experience of going to a record store and looking through records and opening it up and reading the lyrics, that experience is gone.
I used to go and browse through records when I was a kid, and I would just buy a record because the band looked cool, the logo looked cool, or the artwork looked cool, and it was $5. And I'd ride home my bike and put it on. And now it's much more like, oh, they have 50,000 friends, so this must be good. But there's something very cool about it. I can tweet out right now and get a response, and I could respond back. But when I was a kid, I would have never dreamed of being able to tweet back and forth with Ozzy Osbourne. I just thought he must live in a castle somewhere high on top of a hill, with a moat and servants and stuff, and he was just a rock god.
We played a show, this amphitheater, and I went back into the bus, and I was just kind of cooling off, and I pull out my iPhone, I'm looking through Facebook, and a fan said, great show, just watched you, would you sign my t-shirt? And I said, where you at? And she goes, oh, I'm in seat, blah, blah, blah. One of my crew guys took me to her seat, signed her shirt, got a picture with her literally 15 minutes later.
Success for us has been make a living doing what we love to do, and success on a personal level, just being able to be sitting here right now talking to you and being in New York City and having played packed Roseland last night. And how cool is that after this many years to be able to still be doing this? Having lost some very dear people in our lives, you start to realize just how short life can be, and how important one night is in somebody's life. The cover of the album is the five of us toasting. That's Here's to Us. It's kind of that moment. When we were writing that song, we were sitting around before we were writing it, and we were talking about how when you're graduating high school or whatever, and everyone's talking about where they're going to go to college or where they're going to go to work or this and that. And then we were talking about how, I'm like, I don't remember anybody ever just saying, man, isn't this awesome right now? Like, we're gonna look back on this is so badass. And you never think that. Everyone's always worried about, like, what's next?
I'm AJ.
And I'm Jeremy.
And we're lit.
And we're your new music director. Your artists, your music, your link.